What song? I missed it.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Chris is the murder robot this week.
Yes. No.
No. Maybe.
No.
Chris's murder robot is much slower.
Yes.
The CPU is like a 256 megabyte unit. Hello and welcome to the GameBrew Podcast, episode 30. I am your brood lord, Ian Richard, and I'm joined today by Viper Dan Rotz.
Are these StarCraft things? I didn't understand the
Ravager. Ravager Chris Wrights.
Oh, I didn't want to be a Ravager. I want to be a Mutalisk.
And of course, our queen, Allison Vandevender.
I was going to make a pylon joke.
You got to spawn more
so never mind. Yes, must spawn more over. Oh, wow. I think I messed up. Is my mic not working? There we go. Yeah. We're back.
Oh, my God, Allison.
I'm glad that I figured that out now. Hold on. It's unplugging. Ah! No, it's okay. I think I've just fixed it. Am I good now?
You're good now. You're great. You sound very motherly.
Oh, I all I said was I was going to make a pylon joke, but I was the queen, so it didn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
No, but you can spawn more overlords. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can spawn as many overlords as you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can still spawn more overlords for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, what am I? What does the thing I do? I don't even know.
You're like a ground unit that moves fast. You're a Viper.
Oh.
All right.
Is that not your thing? I'm sorry.
Wow.
The first half of the
I just don't
show,
move fast in general.
we'll discuss the most notable moms in gaming. And in the second half, we'll talk about why some games flop. But first, it's time for a beer.
Oh, man.
Poppity.
Okay. I got the big one, so it's going to take me a second to get this bad boy open.
That's...
Oh! Woo.
Oh, that just happened right away.
That was very exciting.
Oh, they're twist-offs.
Huh. What? Oh, crap, it is a twist-off.
That's weird. Anyways,
We used
Chris,
more
what are we
effort.
drinking this week?
it's the Unibroue. I think that's how you say it. Unibroue. That's what I'm going to call it, just because Unibrows.
Unibroue.
Unibroue.
So we're drinking the Unibroue La Fin du Monde.
Oh my God, it smells great.
The end of the world. That for non-French speakers like me.
What, you don't speak French? What?
No. It's a Belgian ale, kind of like a Belgian style triple. It's not like a normal style, like usually when I think of Belgian triples, I think of like Chimay. It's supposed to be a little less bitter and more spicy.
I will tell you that just getting the nose on it, it reeks of wet dog. It is like the wet doggiest beer I've ever smelled in my entire life.
I don't know what that means. I don't think that's like a proper description that beer tasters use.
That's what it smells like. It's like when people are talking about the wine, they're like, yes, a fresh tin of tennis balls.
Oh, yes, wet dog.
Freshly mowed grass.
Yes, it smells
like
as though it's wet dog.
Tastes like river stone.
I think there's like, you're not allowed to talk about the smell of it, considering I really feel like the residue of pickle juice could really be in there still and messing with us.
I also agree. You really got to
cleaned this glass
You need to get some
thoroughly.
proper glasses, my dude.
Can I get your address? No reason. I'm definitely not going to send you glassware.
You know what? I was talking with my brother about this. Just go to restaurants and just start stealing glasses, because then they only spend they get a case of them. They spend like 15 cents per glass. You're saving a whole bunch of money, and they're not losing a whole bunch. And also, you got interesting glasses then.
Where am I gonna? We're just gonna put them in my pocket.
Yeah, get girlfriends that have large purses and just make them carry them out.
Okay.
Or wear cargo pants. Cargo pants works too.
So anyways, this beer is 9% alcohol.
Woo.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
It's a nice.
It's a potent potable.
It's a really good. It's a really great Belgian if you like a stronger beer. I'm really enjoying it.
Apparently, it's the most highly awarded Canadian beer ever.
Whoa.
Oh,
as of 2016.
How about that? Hey,
How about that beer?
It's a great beer. It was from the great north. You know, that's where a lot of people
North.
are
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Tim Hortons.
Canada. My home and native land.
That's great. You're doing a great job singing there. Keep on doing that. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, really, I'm sorry.
Fun story. My ancestors are French Canadian, so this is like the.
Does it taste like
beer.
home?
Is that where you learned how to drink out of pickle jars?
Yeah, it tastes like my grandmother. Yes, Chris.
Oh.
It is.
It's a classic.
Does your grandmother also smell of wet dog?
Oh, that's not good.
Not usually. No, not usually. Not usually grandma smell.
That's very interesting.
Not normally, Usually think of like powder.
It is a great beer, though. Allison, are you brewing this week or not?
No, I'm having a lot of trouble finding things to pair with our themes, so I apologize. I'm just gonna decide on things on Amazon.
No, it's okay.
It's
okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
You don't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah, we don't want to make you go through any trouble there.
Yeah, really, you shouldn't. Don't bother.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That is one thing Canadians are good for, is their politeness.
Well, unless you insult Tim Hortons or hockey, then we will not stand for that. We're going to ask you very politely to leave after you say that there.
Yeah, so I am just drinking Castillo de Poggio wine.
I've never heard that from Canada before. Castillo.
If you go to Canada and you go across that lake thing and you get to Italy eventually, that's where you get this from.
What would be a good pairing with this beer? Let
me take another swig.
Yeah, swig and describe the beer in broad terms. We'll sort of think about it's a strong beer, right?
It's strong, but it's smooth,
and it's I don't want to say,
and it's heavy. So maybe God of War, because he doesn't have any hair on his body, so he's strong and smooth.
He has a beard.
Yeah,
now he has a beard. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, for Ian, clearly it was Nintendogs. There you go.
It apparently ages well, so maybe a game that has aged well. It's a bottle conditioning beer.
Game that has aged well. It's a little bit heavy and pretty smooth and strong. Final Fantasy VII, also about the end of the world.
Okay.
It's aged well.
Okay.
Strong, pretty smooth.
Everything's smooth about that game except for the Cloud's muscles.
I was going to say the original graphics.
Except for the hands.
His block
His
hands.
Popeye arms.
Yeah.
God, those things are the best. I hope they never change.
But it did age well. He looks much less block-handed in Advent Children and in the new stuff.
That's true. Advent Children looks pretty slick for sure. Okay, so what have we been playing this week, folks? Anything cool?
I have been playing the shit out of some God of War.
Yeah, I've heard
man.
It's great, man.
Yeah, and you know what? It lives up to the hype. It's real good. If you don't have a PS4, this is a good reason to go get a PS4.
Don't say that.
See, that was what I was going to say, was that I've been struggling with this. I want to go buy a PS4. I want to trade in my Xbox and get a PS4, because we have an Xbox in our house already. I just have mine.
I would say that would be a good idea. I really like it.
So what about the God of War formula? Does it change?
So I haven't played God of War since the first one, so it's been a while.
Oh,
so I was kind of reading up on the series and kind of seeing where I left off with all that, and kind of how he got into where he is now, fighting Norse gods instead of Greek gods.
He just went north.
Yes.
Basically straight north.
Yeah, like Canada. Just like it. But what I really like about it, the combat's really good. It's kind of somewhere in between. It used to be very hack and slashing, and combat wasn't crazy hard or anything. This is a little harder than that, and has some of the elements of a Dark Souls type game. So you have different move sets and stuff.
So, and the camera follows you now, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's all over the
ones,
shoulder. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the last ones where it was your camera was pretty much stationary, it was in one place, and you had to thwack away at stuff.
Yeah.
So,
which a lot of times is pretty annoying, especially for platforming bits in that game. The stationary camera was so painful.
Right, that was one of the big complaints that people always were it's really awful that you can't move this camera around.
Yeah, and I think it did well transitioning to that camera style. But one of the things I really like about it is the voice acting. It's so good. I really like
Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Boy.
It's a voice actor. I think he was on Stargate.
Yeah, he was.
He has like a really deep voice.
That's who it is.
And he's fantastic. Like just his delivery, he's always very dry. It doesn't say any jokes, but there's some really clever and funny writing, like the banter between him and his son and another character that joins you later. Some of it's just hilarious.
Aside from the banter, is the gameplay significantly different other than the fact that it's a little bit more refined? I mean, the God of War games have always been about I feel like there's always been an element of precision and sort of like learning enemy types, especially in God of War.
Yeah, so there's definitely that still around. It's much more open world. There's a lot more exploration. So that's a little different than the normal formula. But I would just say like its strengths are it's a good open world game. It's not too big, but it's also not too small. They do a great job of making you go through areas that and closing off areas with different certain items or certain abilities to open up other areas. And so you kind of like backtrack logically.
Yeah, it's kind of like the classic, like when it's done well, the classic like platformer
Metroid
like mentality.
Yeah.
Like Metroid kind of stuff where it's like.
So I can't recommend. It's by easily the best game I've played this year. Easily.
Damn.
Nice.
Damn.
Wow.
That's
some high praise right there.
It's May.
Well, I mean, you have played The Witcher 3 this year. Is it better than The Witcher 3?
It's different than The Witcher 3.
Oh,
but like so it's. I knew that question was going to happen. I mean, I think it's very good. I think that I like more of the background information in The Witcher 3 better. Like, I like being in that world a little more, I think, than being in the world of God of War.
Cool, man.
But yeah,
thanks for telling us about it. Dan, what about you, man? What have you been up to?
Fortnite.
Okay. And Allison.
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Dan is like I think Fortnite is fun. I'm just gonna say that.
It's a lot of fun.
But I also think like every time I log onto my computer, there are other things that I would rather be doing than Fortnite.
See, here's the problem. Or rather the great thing about it. I don't know which one to call that. I have an addiction. This week, Season 4 of Fortnite released. Now, this is the thing that these Battle Royale games and all these League of Legends, all these games that are very repetitive, like you were saying, have been doing, is they have seasons, and that's whenever they release new stuff. The way that Fortnite does it is they have seasons where you can get new stuff by gaining levels within that season.
Are there seasons of love?
Love. Or seasons of Fortnite.
Yeah, that'll work too.
So in this season, every week there are new challenges that you can
and it's season 4. Season 4.
Yeah, it's season 4, yes. This week was like there were challenges like, okay, go to this place and kill 3 people there. Get 3 kills with this, or cause this much damage to players with a sniper rifle. And so those are kind of the things where you can go in and not just play the game to win the game,
but you
can play the game to try and find that. Yeah. Or like sometimes there's like things you have to find in the game. This week, one of my favorite ones was you had to spell out Fortnite, kind of like in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. There were just the letters to Fortnite just around the level. You had to go find all of them.
I gotta say, I think it's better than PUBG. I think it's better than PUBG.
I still
agree.
I still stand by my original statement as to I think it's good and it's different. I think PUBG is a very different game from Fortnite. It's the same style of game, but it's a different game. It's kind of The Last of Us versus God of War.
Right. If you had, Dan, think of in your mind of a number between 1 and 100 that represents the quality of Fortnite. Okay, just think of a number. You got it? Fortnite. Fortnite number. Okay, now think of a number between 1 and 100 that represents PUBG.
That's a lot of numbers. I don't know. I don't like ranking things because I play them for different reasons. It's like it's not the same. It's not the same.
I'm just saying every time I load up Fortnite, everything displays on my screen properly. When I load up PUBG, I'm like, oh, wait, I can hear that I'm in the plane, but I'm But now I'm parachuting out of the plane, but I still can't see anything. Okay, I'm on the ground. I can't see anything. Oh, okay, I can see things, but I can't enter buildings now because those assets haven't loaded. It's just like it's a mess.
I think that you just need to get faster internet. That's my theory on that. But I mean, honestly, because Fortnite, anytime I load it, I have to start Fortnite 4 times anytime I want to play it. Because it crashes the first.
Me neither.
It crashes the first 3 times. I've done everything to try and fix it. I've reinstalled it. I've done all this stuff. It crashes every time I try and load it.
Man,
so
that shows your dedication to it.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like it only takes a minute or two. It's also not as big as PUBG is, so it takes and that's kind of one of the good parts is that it takes a shorter time to get into the game. So I could die and then start again, and it only takes me like a minute to get into a new game, which arguably happens to me all the time because I'm not great at Fortnite. That being said, I did finish all of the achievement things for the first week. So
awesome.
But also Bradley plays it. So Rumi Bonnie. I think he played it for how long was it? 7 hours you played it for on Saturday, Brad? So for his first session on Saturday, he played from like 7 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon.
Jesus. Brad, and then he took a break outside.
And then played for like another 4 hours with me.
Jesus.
I think he's playing Are you playing Fortnite now? Yes, he's playing Fortnite right now. So,
yeah, that's a lot of Fortnite. Allison, what about you? What have you been up to?
I don't have anything exciting to talk about, unfortunately, in games. I know. No. It's really sad. I've just been playing the usual, just Overwatch and some Heroes of the Storm and some WoW. That's it. I've been really
you're
busy.
Living within that Blizzard.
Wow.
I know.
Gated community.
It's because
everything is shiny and nice.
Wow.
It's really easy when I'm super busy, like I have been, because we've had like Infinity War come out and stuff. So I've had to watch that twice already. So I mean,
I haven't seen it still. Please don't say anything.
I haven't seen it either. I'm ashamed of myself.
I want to tell you so many things, especially whenever the Transformers show up. It's crazy,
dude.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I have anything interesting to add for you guys. I'm sorry.
All right, well that's fine because I can talk about Nier Tomato for a long time.
How has your time been being with Nier Tomato?
Being Nier Tomato is fabulous. So we're talking about Nier Automata, by the way. And Nier Automata is it's like an action RPG. It's sort of a hack and slash game mixed with an RPG type quest setup. So there's a bunch of quests going on all the time. It's almost like MMO level quests where you have like 12 and you're just like running around trying to figure them out.
Do you have to go pick up like 12 widgets?
Yeah, sometimes it's stuff like that. Sometimes it's more... sometimes it's meteor stuff, like, go figure out why this person died, and then you figure out, they went to get revenge on a robot, but the robot was too strong, and the robot was also getting revenge for the death of another robot. And what
Westworld.
I've never seen Westworld, but sure. What I really like about it is that it does the classic, it asks the classic Isaac Asimov questions about robots, like when does consciousness turn from being an extremely advanced computer to being human-like or considered conscious, and I think that's really cool. The voice acting is really great. I used to get, like, when I started playing it, it sends you through the same environments, like, over and over and over. And at first I was like, well, this is getting super repetitive and I wish the world was bigger. And then I realized that they were sending me back, but because I hadn't seen everything in the environments that I needed to see. Like they kept sending me back to the desert. And I'm like, I don't want to go back to the desert. And then I find out, spoiler alert, that there's a giant underground cave system underneath the desert. You know what I mean?
You can't just do that, dude.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, though.
You ruined this desert for me now.
Give him a minute to take off his headphones. And...
It's a really, it's really smart use of environments and storyline. And I'm only like 8 hours in ish, and I know this is a game that people sink all kinds of time into. And like after you complete your first playthrough, people are like, "Oh, you have to play through it again because there's like a whole nother take on the story after it. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what the ending is like, but I'm excited about it. I'm having a good time for it. I got it half off on Steam, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard that you definitely have to play through it more than once, just because it's not like beating the game is not the end of the game. Kind of
Correct.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's more than just like a regular New Game Plus.
Rolling the credits is just the first thing. Yeah. What else? I briefly installed the Harry Potter phone game is that came out. It's fucking god awful. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later, I think.
We will?
Too. In the second half?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, we can
Spoiler
talk about that.
alert.
It's interesting. I've also strangely been playing a lot of Pokemon Go, but maybe that's another thing we can talk about in the second half.
I went to go see Infinity War, and there was a dude playing Pokemon Go on 2 phones next to me.
Whoa.
That's very dedicated. Yeah, no, he was like doing double thumbs. He was like flicking stuff forward.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know people were still that into Pokemon Go.
No, it totally is. There's still a raiding community in my town, and occasionally they'll be like, hey, can somebody come pick up my phone to go to that raid for me?
Oh my God.
And it's like, I would feel so weird. I would never let somebody come grab my phone, some random person, take it to this raid just to get this. No, thank you.
And my iPad, maybe.
Right.
But not my phone.
Right, no.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go because I've been running a lot lately. So I've got like a 3.5 mile loop that I do like basically every day. So I'm hatching eggs like a badass.
I'm sure.
But I've run out of Pokeballs more times than I care to admit.
You gotta get to those Pokestops, man. Just have it out when you run past the places that are Pokestops and swipe the thing.
Well, that's the rule. So the rule is that I'm not allowed to stop to do anything in Pokemon Go. Like you have to keep running.
Well, you don't have to stop. You can just take it out while you're bouncing.
I know, but
swiping.
You've got to
So
get
the problem
the
is-
wrist app thing. That's what you need to do. So you just tap the button while you keep running.
Right, but the problem is like you pull it up and your phone's there and there's Pokemon and I'm trying to like do the curveball swirl while I'm running and then like toss it at the right angle and stuff. It's a little bit more complicated than it probably should be, but it's fine.
Yeah, if you
right angles, that's just gonna go that way.
If you get the little wrist thing though, you just tap a button and it throws the ball for you and everything and gets the Pokestops. That's what you need
Wait,
to do.
what?
Yeah.
You don't even have to pull out your phone?
No, it's Bluetooth synced. It's pretty cool.
Oh my god, I need
Game
that.
changer.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that.
Ian's eyes just got so wide. No one could see that. But
Target.
yeah.
Go to Target and
Target.
get
That's
that.
the fancy version.
Or I'll go to Amazon and just order it.
Amazon.
That's the Amazon, but just for salted pork meats.
They also do bacon. All right, moving on to our first topic. We're talking about.
That took forever to move on to the first topic.
I'm sorry. 34 minutes in. So our first topic today is we're going to talk about video game moms. And the reason is that by the time this is released, it'll be the day after Mother's Day. And, you know, we all have moms that we love here. So we wanted to talk about video game moms that we also love. So what do we got, people?
I think the first one that we kind of talked about in the meeting was your mom from Pokemon, right?
Yeah. So I really like that because she's the one who gives you your running shoes and she heals you up whenever you need to get healed up in Pallet Town. She's just a great mom. She doesn't have a name. I don't
remember this at all.
Yeah.
It's like the
first person you talk to.
You wake up.
You come downstairs and she's just like, hey, it's your birthday. Time to go get your Pokemon. Are you excited? Just be careful out there.
Don't wander into the tall grass.
You go get your Pokemon and she kicks your butt out of the house at, 13, 12? And you go
to earn a living.
And yeah, you are on your own from then on. Totally best mom ever.
That's totally a choice. That's totally a choice that you make.
Yeah.
Like that's
she's always supportive. You can always go back.
My friend pointed out today that your name is Ash, and your mom doesn't have a name, but your Professor Oak is like the professor in town in the first Pokemon at least. Do you think that has something to do with why he's named after a tree
Ash.
and you're named after a tree?
Maple. Do you have a brother named Maple?
No.
Yeah, maybe like
but
maybe your mom's been.
But doesn't he say his nephew is Gary?
That's his nephew.
The ultimate
So that would
rivalry is that you're family and you don't know it. Good theory. I dig it.
Maybe. Like, maybe, like, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to know. Like, the whole time, you're just like, ooh, out of wedlock. I'm getting it on.
Bow, 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 bow. I would like to call out the Mother Brain from Metroid for being a great mom to the universe generally.
It's not really a she though, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, well, okay. Do you need to be a she to be a mom?
Is it even really a mom?
It's just like somebody who calls herself a mom. That's like saying cooking mama is a mom. Like, the reality is,
isn't she a mom?
By definition, she is a mom.
I don't know that. The cooking mama? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's a mom.
Yeah.
They never go over that. She's decided she's called mama. It's like her thing. It's like Lady Gaga. It's not really a thing.
Is she a lady? Do we know?
Right.
Does anybody?
It's all just a stage thing.
Okay, but Mother Brain does, like speak for the Metroids?
Speak for the trees?
Right? Doesn't she? Am I wrong about that?
I'm pretty sure that she's just a big old space pirate leader.
Yeah, she's kind of like a boss to me. I mean,
She's
it's
kind of
Mother
like
Brain. It qualifies.
Just a big brain.
Yeah, she's in artificial intelligence. She's not...
I get it, though. She calls herself Mother. I'm on board-ish.
Mother! Like that song by...
Wolf Mother.
Wolf Mother.
Ha!
That's a great mother. Wolf Mother. They're great.
All right, what else is out there?
You know what's kind of interesting, too, is, Earthbound. In Japan, it was released as Mother 2. Because there's a whole Mother series.
Is there... Okay, so there's like a Mother 1 and a Mother 2.
Yeah, no, they just skipped it, too. I guess the first one, the first Mother game was not released in the U.S.
Why did they call them Mother?
That's a good question. Research.
Why do you ask these questions now?
I'm just curious. I don't know. Like, I like Earthbound makes a little bit of sense because if it's referring to Ness, it's talking about, the fact that he is grounded and like the aliens who are coming to the planet to destroy it aren't grounded.
Maybe it's like a Mother
aliens.
Earth.
Ooh.
Like the Earth is the mother?
I think you're onto something there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
And there is a Mother 3 that came out for Game Boy Advanced. So it's Mother 1, 2, and 3.
Are you sure that Mother 3?
Yeah, Mother 3 is a thing.
Wikipedia tells me that exists, so I'm going to go with Wikipedia on this one.
Mother 3, totes a thing.
In 2006.
For the Game Boy Advanced?
Japan.
And it was the last Mother game, apparently.
That's really cool. I liked whoever did Kerrigan from the Queen of Blades from StarCraft.
Queen of Blades, Zerg.
StarCraft.
She's kind of a mother.
Yes, you. Have you ever done a Kerrigan cosplay?
I have not. I hate Zerg.
Oh,
why?
Really?
Well, because they always beat me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not being
You just don't like the Zergling Rush.
It's completely petty. Yeah, the Zergling Rush back in the day when you first really got into StarCraft and it was a huge thing. All of my friends who played Zerg were just assholes, and they would just Zerg rush me. And I'm over there trying to play my Terran, building my little base, and they just come in and eat everything. And I'm like, thanks, guys. All right, cool. I am useless. But yeah, no, I think Kerrigan's awesome. She's a boss mom, for sure.
She's a badass.
She's a boss.
She's got her shit together. She just sends her minions in, her children. I like it.
Yeah, and I feel like she was a responsible Zerg queen. She had the Zerg's best in mind at all times.
Like she was always about this. She was always caring about the Zergs.
Yeah,
no matter what
happened. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you guys play Skyrim at all, or the Elder Scrolls series?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I know there's the Dark Brotherhood, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, nice, nice.
The Night Mother.
Oh.
She was always definitely gave me a lot of gifts. That sweet ass horse in Skyrim. She gives you what's his name?
That's horrible.
Doesn't matter though because he followed me everywhere.
Do you all remember the side quest in Chrono Trigger where you save Luca's mom?
Yeah, because she gets paralyzed or something.
So
right?
yeah, at the beginning of the game, you meet Luca, you meet her mom, and she's paraplegic. And I think I might be wrong about this. I think she gets pulled into her sewing machine, and that's how she becomes a paraplegic.
I don't think it's her sewing machine. I think it's one of Luca's like inventions.
I think it's a sewing. Hold on, let me figure this out.
We're gonna subtitle this episode. We look up a lot of stuff.
Research. Luca's mom has got it going on.
Oh, dude, come on. I'm sure she does, but Jesus.
But her mom's name is Lara. Suffering an accident involving one of. It's actually okay.
So not a sewing machine.
I don't know. Not a sewing machine. Definitely a horrible accident involving a machine. That was built by Lucas' dad, actually. So, but then you can go back in time and save her.
Okay.
Because Chrono Trigger. It's about time.
About time.
Did any of you ever play the Binding of Isaac?
I did not.
No. Well, I did not play that.
Okay. Well, if you have even a passing affair with roguelikes, The Binding of Isaac is probably one of the best roguelikes I've ever played. Actually, it is. I'm going to say this. It's the best roguelike I've played. I'm pulling up my Steam right now because I want to see how much time I've put into The Binding of Isaac and The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and then, of course, Afterbirth. But at the end of each Binding of Isaac run, which is not necessarily the end, but because there's stuff after her, but essentially the big boss is your mom. So Isaac is essentially like this messed up little kid who gets shut in the basement as soon as he's born and never sees the light of day. And so the whole storyline behind Isaac is that he's going to free himself from his mother's grasp using his bloody tears.
Jesus.
Yeah, she also happens to be a religious zealot. The game is not very sunshiny.
It doesn't sound like it.
It's not, no.
But it is incredibly good.
I don't mind that.
Wow.
Like Eiko wasn't exactly sunshiny, and the mom figure in that was the queen, and that was the mother of Yorda, and she was terrible. So there's another awful mom.
Compared to The Binding of Isaac, Eiko was a sunshiny game.
Yeah, fair, but
it's funny I don't have as much time as I thought I did, but I have 47 hours into The Binding of Isaac, and it's basically a top-down roguelike. That's still a lot
for a roguelike.
You've dabbled.
I've dabbled a bit.
Definitely.
But it's
definitely dabbled.
It's a pretty incredible game. Nobody's ever played it. And actually, this brings me to a bigger topic. Do you guys think that games have a problem with representing moms in a positive light, or even representing them at all?
I think they're usually representative in a positive light, but I do think that, generally speaking, they're used as a plot device, and they're usually dead. I mean, honestly, they're either dead or they're there for 10 seconds to prove that you had a home life, and that's it.
And then they die.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what in The Last of Us, Ellie doesn't really have a mom.
Yeah, she's dead. Right?
She dies in childbirth. Who else is dead to me?
Link's mom?
Link's mom. She dies fighting in the Hylian Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that there are more like male, like kind of
father
like they
figures.
leave the storytelling to like the male parent figure kind of stuff, and not the female parent figure. I mean, even like, I guess in Batman, they talk about Thomas Wayne all the time. They don't really talk about Martha Wayne a lot.
That's true. I bet Martha Wayne was the power behind the throne, too.
I bet. Like more than just a pretty lady. Like she was like probably in charge of like the Gotham foundations and all the stuff that was helping the city. Like, because Thomas Wayne was a doctor, so he probably was going to spend time doing all that extra stuff for foundations.
Time docting.
Yeah. So what the hell, video games?
Well, right. So here's a challenge to all three of you. Tell me the name of a mom in video games who's not either A, dead within the first 10 minutes, already dead, or evil.
Fighting game moms. All the fighting game moms.
Yeah.
That's my answer. because they're fighting usually for their child or something related to that.
That's true.
So like Sonya and all those.
So did Sonya have kids?
Cassie Cage, we went over this.
Yes.
Yeah, Cassie Cage, her and Nick Cage had a...
Yeah, her and Nick Cage.
Wait, I'm sorry. Luke Cage. Oh,
not
God.
Luke Cage.
I've had...
Yes.
To not
Luke Cage?
I prefer Nicolas Cage.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, so Sonya Sophieta, how do you say that? From the Soul Calibur?
Sophitia or Sophisha? I don't know.
Something like
Sophisha?
that.
Sophisha sounds like a prescription drug.
I know, it really does.
May cause bloating, irritable bowel syndrome, or leaky asshole.
those Greek god Athenians, they have those names that sound like drugs, okay? That's just, I mean, yeah. But yeah, she's like, there's a sword with her daughter's spirit and in it and everything, so she's defending it. Like, most of the time when you have a mom character, she literally is only existing to protect her child, honestly. Like, they don't have existence outside of being a mom in games.
So, I mean, and Anna from Overwatch kind of does the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like,
right. I feel like Anna was the example that I thought y'all would come up with, because she does have an existence outside of protecting her child, in that she continues to be like a sniper and like works as a very important member of the Overwatch team in spite of having children, notably Farah.
But I mean, her daughter's there, right? Isn't that kind of why she's still there?
Yeah,
and her role is very
the
protectory role. That's true.
Yeah, isn't that the reason they bring her back? Or she came back to fight was because she was trying to defend.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of why they exist in the games. If they make them a mom in their backstory, their kid is usually a big part of the reason they're in the story at all, I feel like.
Mine was Life is Strange, because someone had told us, like, hey, you guys don't talk about Life is Strange at all. So I started playing that a little bit. And your mom in that, her name is Joyce. And she's like the mommiest mom in the whole world. Like, all she does is just love the crap out of you and offer you food and like just be so supportive. Even though you're super, like, your character that you play
is like
this rebellious teenager. So it's like you're being a teenager. You're being really shitty to her. And she's just like, and she's just loving you so much. It's just like, oh, mom, you're like a mommy mom.
So I'm
doing mom stuff.
I was just thinking about the game What Remains of Edith Finch, which actually, this is a spoiler. So if you want to take your headphones off or like skip forward 5 minutes in time while we talk about this.
5 minutes.
I mean, it's not a huge spoiler because honestly, the first time you look down, if you're not an idiot, you figure it out. But the protagonist in What Remains of Edith Finch is pregnant, so she's a mom.
Oh,
and that's a big like motivational. It's a big motivation for that character in the story to get back to understanding her family, which is why the whole story begins in the first place.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah, that game is really great. If you haven't played What Remains of Edith Finch, you probably should.
I'll have to do that.
Wow.
All right. Well, if you have a mom in mind that we haven't talked about in gaming, let us know by hitting us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at The GameBrew. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about why games come out and then immediately bomb, and we'll talk about why some great games are panned on release. So stick with us. All right, hello and welcome back to the second half of the GameBrew podcast. Let's check in with the beer before we get to the discussion on why games come out and immediately crash. How's the beer, friend?
Spicy.
Like
Dan's rack.
Spicy. Yeah. I'm having a hard time opening it. That makes I really don't like this foil stuff they put around the.
But the foil makes it
bottle.
look so much fancier.
It looks fancy, but now I've got little pieces of foil all over my desk, and my cat's gonna come up and gonna eat.
That's why, Dan. That's why you gotta buy the big ones, so you don't have to deal with the foil. I will say the 9% alcohol by volume is definitely doing its job.
That's good. Does it feel like it's the end of the world?
It doesn't quite feel like it's the end of the world, but I imagine by the time I get to the bottom of this bottle, it will.
Yay, adventure!
Hey!
Well, but you see, if it's the end of the world and you know it, you should feel fine.
You know what? I do feel fine.
Nice.
Hey, I mean, that's great. It starts with an earthquake. Birds, snakes, and airplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid.
Eye of the hurricane. Okay, I'm going to stop.
It's one of those beers that, like, I like it when it's cold, but once it starts to warm up, it's, like, really it kind of gets me. Like, I drink it and I go, like, after I drink it for a little bit.
See, this is the kind of beer where the more I drink it, I'm like, I could eat this for breakfast.
Well...
You will not believe what I have in store for you.
No, it's a good beer. It definitely deserves the awards it's gotten, I guess.
Chris, I appreciate that you're like the designated driver for this evening.
Sometimes you gotta recover from those.
I was just happy that Bob graduated. Our friend Bob,
Yay,
our roommate of mine. Shout out to Bobby Brown.
Shout out to Bobby Brown.
Person I haven't met. Yay!
He's the best. He
is the best.
I've heard this.
Well, Allison, it was your stupid birthday, so you weren't there.
I know, I could have met him. This is
oh
really
my
exciting.
God, Allison, it was your birthday. We haven't even sung you happy birthday yet.
That's okay.
All right, here we go.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Happy birthday.
Dan, you didn't even pick a key. You were the one that counted.
Happy birthday to... Why aren't you guys singing?
I can't.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you, Dan.
birthday, dear Allison. Happy birthday
Happy birthday
to you.
Thank you. That's all I wanted for my birthday. It's fulfilled now. I appreciate you guys.
I'll have to see. I don't know. Did the mandatory fund commissioner send you a birthday message or anything like that?
No.
Really?
I think I need a video message if you can put that word in there for me.
He talks about you all the time. I mean, maybe.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. He might be back. He might be around later. Maybe he'll like stop by with something. I don't know.
All right, so second half of the show, we want to talk about why some games come out and immediately bomb, especially games that have been hyped like crazy. We want to know why this happened, and we want to know why some games that are actually otherwise pretty good get panned upon their release. So games like No Man's Sky come to mind. Games like Battlefront 2 come to mind. Sea of Thieves, Destiny 2, Fallout 4. Why are these games why are these games considered flops, and are there redeeming factors for any of these games?
Well, Ian, I interrupted you in the beginning of the show whenever you were talking about the Hogwarts Mystery, the Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery Trash Factory that is.
Yeah, it should be called Hogwarts Trash Factory.
Because it's one of those games. It's a hurry up and wait game that we talked about like on episode 5 or something.
There are hurry up and wait games that are worth playing. I can't think of any that actually come to mind. The Marvel. There's a Marvel
Ultimate. Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Heroes Academia. No, wait,
yes.
That's an anime.
That's an anime.
That's an anime.
But there's like a Marvel like Heroes Go to School game where you're like building stuff and putting around. It's not a hurry up and wait game, but the story is fun and the characters are light and it's really not that punishing anyway. So you can play through it and kind of get the story and have a good time and it's great, right? This Harry Potter game is pugilistic. Like it's mean.
It really feels like they punish you for playing it with how
they
long. They
punish you for playing it. Yeah, it's true. I was going to say, it seems like they have planned when you run out of energy for the worst possible times. Like the first time that I ran out of energy, I was being strangled by a fucking plant. It was like, oh, well, you can click here to have more energy to unstrangle yourself. Or, you could just leave and that would be fine. If you don't care, you can leave. You can let him strangle. It's fine. You leave. It's fine. You don't need to do anything. Or you could just buy it and save him. That's fine. But if you don't care, leave.
Yeah, I think there's a two-part issue to this game, too. I think that it was confusing to people on launch. They thought it was that promised Pokemon Go with Harry Potter. So I think it's a two-part issue where this game, this sucks as a whole. Let me be clear. Definitely does. But I also think it got this overhype because people saw it and they're like, oh, mobile game for Harry Potter. This has to be the one that we've heard so much about. And then it wasn't.
It was not.
So I think that's part two of why it was so painful.
Isn't that one actually being published by Niantic, who did
Yeah.
So
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, yeah, that one hasn't launched yet, and I think people were confused and thought this was it. So I think it might actually hurt the launch of that too.
I think it's just interesting because the things it has you do, like, it's like, okay, you're going to learn how to cast the spell Lumos because I played the beginning of it. And like, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to learn Lumos. And you go to class and it's literally you clicking on random people and the things it says like, oh yeah, click on this person 4 times and use 4 of your energy things to observe them. And you're like, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then new blue things pop up that you have to click on. It's like, oh, you can either wonder about something or you can look at something, but you have to tap on the thing to use 4 of your energy dealios.
Completely absurd.
It's like a worse visual novel.
I think that.
So I feel like we're asking like 2 questions here.
Yeah,
like we're talking about games that get so hyped and like there's so much expectation when they come out, and they either flop because they're not living up to the expectations, and then we're talking like another reason, like why do games come out and crash? Like that's pretty broad. Like
that's true. Okay, so what about the first one? Like, Chris, what's one that's like the first one you said, which is the games that come out and don't live up to the hype?
I mean, obviously, No Man's Sky is like the poster child for this, but there's also games that like are good games, but like have so much hype around them that there's no possible way they could live up to the hype. Okay. And actually, Fallout 4 is that, I believe.
Oh, explain the Fallout 4.
So
can you explain
Fallout
the No
4,
Man's Sky thing first, actually?
So with No Man's Sky, I mean, I think a lot of people know the history. Like, the company was making claims to what the game was going to be and what it was going to look like. And when it was released, a lot of people speculated that it was released before it was actually ready to be released and didn't live up to those expectations. Like it just was to the point of false advertisement.
Yeah, I expected it to be multiplayer, and
a lot of people
I didn't get that.
Because that's what they said in the advertising.
It didn't even matter if it was a good solo game at that point, for me, because it wasn't what I wanted.
I think gaming companies, especially independent gaming companies, I mean, you got to remember that. What the hell was the name of the company that released No Man's Sky? I don't even remember.
Hello Games.
Yeah, Hello Games up to that point hadn't done a AAA release, and honestly, No Man's Sky wasn't a AAA release, but it was advertised like a AAA release, and that was the problem, right? If they had talked about No Man's Sky as like this indie studio who's trying to put together this really ambitious project, and they're really hopeful and they're trying all these new radical ideas, and like they focused on what the game did do and not the things that they like wanted it to do in a fantasy land, I think No Man's Sky would have been not just a sales success, but also a critical success. I honestly believe that right now, No Man's Sky is a pretty good game. It's not great.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I still need to go back and play it, but I've heard people really like it now.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's a pretty good game, and there's some really amazing things going on there, but the way they advertised it was that it was going to be everything to everyone, and there's no way that it could be. I think that's a case where PlayStation really failed Hello Games as a studio that it supports.
Well, PlayStation probably doesn't really care because people still bought it. And they got a lot of money.
People still bought it. They got money for it.
So like in a way, it wasn't a flop because their marketing machine did what it did.
Its job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did its job.
Yeah, but I also feel like to a certain point, marketing has to be realistic, or else it damages the brand itself. So for PlayStation in this, PlayStation has done a wonderful job supporting indie titles, smaller studios, and making some really great games come out. I feel like if they had another project like No Man's Sky where they hyped the shit out of it and it came out and it maybe wasn't the scope that people were expecting, or it didn't have all the features that people were expecting, people would eventually start to think about PlayStation as a company that was full of shit.
I guess, but I think that company in that instance is so small in like the grand scheme of PlayStation as a company that it's not enough for people to be like, oh, they're the bad guys. And especially because we as gamers and consumers kind of think of these companies like PlayStation and Microsoft, we kind of think of them as the bad guys anyway,
EA.
Even though we still play their stuff. EA. Yeah, definitely EA.
Okay, EA is a bad guy.
And that's kind of the thing is with a company that is like that's their first AAA title, they might not make another AAA title just because of that.
But that's what I'm saying is that it was never a AAA. It was never... If PlayStation hadn't hyped the shit out of that game, it never would have been a AAA title to begin with, and it would have been a great quote-unquote AA title.
Well, slap on the wrist for PlayStation. You guys suck. You said the other one was Fallout 4, right?
Fallout 4, when it came out, had an incredibly ridiculous amount of hype around it just because of the way they did it, like releasing the trailer, like just dropping the trailer at E3 the same year that they're releasing it after people thought they were working on it, but they didn't know it was like coming.
I mean, that's standard operating procedure for Bethesda, though, right?
Not like that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
I mean, it was awesome.
It came out,
but it was ridiculous. So like and Fallout 4 is a good game. It's a good game. It's not a great game. It's not the best thing to ever be a Fallout game, I guess, or like anything like that, or being the best Bethesda game. But it's a good game with an incredible amount of hype around it. It could never have lived up to it.
Right. So I think that falls into the same category as No Man's Sky. It's just that Bethesda is more used to actually producing AAA titles and therefore could meet more of those expectations, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's another sort of category for these kind of games that falls under sort of the Battlefront 2 category, where the games are super strongly hyped, but then also when they come out, they have these systemic design flaws that prevent them from actually being good. Like I would say actually the bones of Battlefront 2 are pretty good. Yeah. The problem is that the experience and the reward system are so deeply flawed that it ruins the rest of the gameplay.
Well, and that's how Diablo 3 was on launch.
That's true. Yeah. That is how Diablo 3 was on launch. Yeah.
Which they fixed it, but it took a little bit getting rid of the auction house, and
that's why I won't play it. I don't know. Maybe I'm a weird gamer. That game was everything to me. I was waiting for it for so long. It was pushback, and I was such a big Diablo fan that I was like, this is going to be great. And then when it launched with that auction house system and the day of launch, there were so many problems with the server.
Issues. I think Battlefield 3 had server issues too.
Yeah.
That SimCity game had really bad server issues.
Oh God. The new SimCity. It was the SimCity relaunch. God, it's so sad. I'm like choking up a little bit thinking about like all these SimCity memories from when I was a kid and like how much fun I had with that game, and then thinking about how bad the launch of SimCity was. It was terrible.
Well, I mean that was Diablo for me too, where it launched with all these hype expectations from the old games, and then I found out it's not this fun grind fest for me and my friends. It's a pay to win system, and that hurt.
Yeah, and that has changed a lot. So, and that's an interesting dichotomy. That's what I was going to say before, is that it's an interesting dichotomy how there's this group of people who, whenever a game comes out, if it doesn't meet your expectations, you just immediately write it off. And you could play it now. Like, honestly, Diablo 3 now is pretty darn good.
It's fun. It is a great game. I like it.
Yeah. We spent a good year, maybe, playing that back and forth for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we hop on it every so often.
Yeah,
on new seasons. I haven't for a little bit, but if a new season starts and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna play. Oh, a new season started. I'll go hop on and do that.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. But yeah, so it's a lot more like what the things that we liked from Diablo 2. But there are so many people who are turned off by it immediately whenever it came out that it's just like, nope, I'm not gonna do it.
Do you guys know the song "Baby Come Back"? Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. That like I
we have no idea what you're talking about.
I want you to listen to that while just watching like the Diablo 3 opening series.
I'll just record it, guys, and I'll have like a little tear running down my cheek in that moment. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, Pokemon Go had systematic issues too. Do we want to talk about that, or
Yeah, Pokemon Go had systemic issues. Sure. Yeah, go please, Allison.
So I still play Pokemon Go, and I'm huge into it. There's a big community that plays it around here. But on launch, it was very strange because the whole community was together and we were trying to do these things, and there were so many problems with the server and people connecting. There would be somebody beside me who couldn't spin the same Pokestop I was spinning, and we couldn't get into raids, and that frustrated a lot of people because timing on raids is so important, and we'd jump out and jump in trying to get people into the same thing we are. And that whole thing lost a lot of people at launch when this game was so hype when it first started, that it made me really sad because it was such a big fun community thing.
I mean, I would argue that Pokemon Go is not a flop.
It's not a flop. It definitely just had systematic issues.
Yeah, but like I don't think it flopped. I mean, there's still a very strong, passionate community around it.
Yeah, I think as far as mobile games goes, yeah, Chris, I agree with you. Like, that's one of the more successful.
And it only had issues because it was so successful.
Well, that's not entirely true, though. So a couple of things. Pokemon Go released and it had huge issues, but also like every new content update that it's done, like raids weren't released as a part of the original Pokemon Go content. When raids were released, they were a clusterfuck. It's like every time they release a big new content patch for Pokemon Go, it's a huge mess. And I think that plays into what Allison is saying about like everybody was so hyped about this, and then they keep screwing it up. Like Niantic literally still to this day hasn't figured out how to do content launches.
They also don't have any support. And that's the second issue, is this game has zero support. And with how many people play it, how much money is funneled into it, it's most popular mobile game, arguably. It's got so much money down into it. I know I put a ton of money into it when it first launched because I was having so much fun. I didn't want to stop, and I would have to stop in order to play sometimes if I didn't dump money into it because I wasn't somewhere where I had balls or what have you. And they blocked my account when they did the big bot banning because they said I was a bot. Yeah, and I wasn't. And I still can't get that account back.
Are you sure you're not?
I'm pretty sure. But I did have a GPS issue with my phone where it would dump me in Africa occasionally.
Wait, hold on. I have a perfect way to test this. Hey, Allison, 1001110011100111110101000.
404. Page not found.
All right, I think she's fine, guys. I'm the only murder robot here, so we're okay.
So I mean that was hugely frustrating to me. I tried multiple times to contact their support, multiple ways. Other people have had the same problem where it thought that I was a bot because my GPS would flop me into Africa for a while, for a little bit, just because phones are phones and they have issues. And they thought I was cheating. So there was no response to me in how to fix that. No offer to refund money for what I had just at least recently paid for. Nothing. And I had to make a whole new account. And it's stuff like that that's really frustrating and almost made me stop. But I still play because it's really fun, even though it's lame sometimes.
Yeah, and same here. Like, I still play Pokemon Go, even though I admit that it has its issues, and I really think it's just that like Niantic does not have its shit together. That seems like that's what the problem is.
Well, they jumped into the deep end like right away.
Yeah,
like. They only had, I think they had like one other GPS-based game before that.
Ingress. Yeah.
Two, but one was successful, yeah.
Yeah, and I had some friends who said that game was like really good, but also arguably less people played it, so because it was just not...
It didn't have a Pokemon theme.
Right, exactly.
I don't know, I guess now, I expect more now. They still have the same problems they had then.
So there's the No Man's Sky effect, which is like death by hype, right? And then there's the Battlefront 2 / Pokemon Go effect, which is like death by structural design flaw. And then there's another thing that I feel like kills games right off the bat, and that is the complaint, right or wrongly, that there's not enough content. So have we all played Sea of Thieves?
Yes.
No, Allison hasn't.
Well, everybody but Allison, yes.
Everyone that plays Tuba here has played Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
Tuba to Sea of Thieves ratio is 1-to-1.
So at the very least, we have quorum. So I think that this is like the other reason that games come out and flop is that there's an incredible skeleton, or there's like really amazing world building, and like you want to be there, but there's just not enough to do.
Yeah, but that comes with like the whole companies are releasing games that aren't full games, like with DLC stuff too.
Like half-baked kind of releases.
Or like they rush them out before they're ready.
Yeah. Oh, here's a concept. Let's release it as a full game. Whenever it's like you haven't explored the concept, you know, like get a focus group in.
For example,
Star Wars: The Old Republic was kind of like that when it first came out.
Yeah, initially it was a little crazy,
and part of the problem was people were comparing it to WoW, which WoW had been out for like 8 years or something when it came out. So like, of course, WoW's gonna have more content, but like, so like people comparing it to WoW, and you can't compare it to that. There's just nothing. Like the content was good in SWTOR, and it had laser swords, lightsabers, I believe they're called.
Lightsabers, yes. Isn't that why they took off? That's why they took off the cost. Like it used to be like you still had to pay a monthly fee to play it. But then they got so much complaints about it. It's like, well, there's not enough content to justify us paying $10 a month to continue playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. So then they were like, okay, well, we'll take off the fee for everyone to play it, but you can only get some content if you pay a certain amount.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, even with like Destiny 2, whenever that came out, people were all like, well, it's kind of short. It's a little boring. It has more story than Destiny 1 did. But it's still pretty short, and there's not a whole lot to do outside of that main story.
See, and this is the one where I am the most skeptical about gaming communities about their feedback to companies. Like Sea of Thieves and Destiny 2 both fall into this like the quote unquote there's not enough content in these games. And I paid $15 to play Sea of Thieves for a month.
Through the Xbox thing. Like the monthly.
Yeah, through the Xbox monthly thing, whatever it is.
Game Pass,
great.
Game Pass.
Like I feel like I got way more than $15 worth of content out of that game. Like I still want to go back and play Sea of Thieves, even though I know I've basically seen everything that there is to see in that game, because it's beautiful and it's great, and I hope they continue to support it. Same thing with Destiny 2. I played a full premium price for Destiny 2, but I also feel like I got a full premium game for Destiny 2. Like, I had fun with the PvP, I had fun with the PvE. Like, after 30 or 40 hours, sure, I was maybe done with everything there was to do, but that's 34 hours. I paid $60. Like, I feel like there's some element of unrealistic expectations.
For Sea of Thieves, if you paid $60, would you have felt the same way? I don't think so. Right, and that's the asking price of Sea of Thieves, and that's the problem. So you got your $15 worth. I think, yeah, you'd feel differently. But even at $30, I would have felt okay about Sea of Thieves.
I mean, there's some games. I mean, like, Ian, I'm sorry, Absolver. Whenever that came out, I'm a little upset that I paid $30 for that game, because I played it for a little bit with you and with Chris, but after that, I didn't really play any because it just didn't have the content. Like, it didn't have anything to keep me coming back to it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the problem with it. It looked really good on paper. The Game Informer spreads looked really cool, but the game just didn't live up to that kind of...
Yeah.
Like, the kind of stuff that everyone thought it was going to be.
Death by Hype.
So, yeah, that one maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I've got 14 hours on on Absolver, and it doesn't feel great that I paid a full $30 price. But also, and made all of us do that.
Yeah, you see.
I have 7 hours in it.
Not me. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Allison. That was before I knew you.
She could never be mad at you, Ian.
Not yet.
Watch out, I might mail some bees to you. Just be careful.
A box of bees. To wrap this section up, Allison, what do you think the game is that you were most burned by on release?
I do feel like it's probably Diablo 3. Probably because I told you how passionate I was about that. And I still haven't played it, and I haven't ever considered playing it until this podcast, actually, right now. So, yeah, that one really hurt me just because of the anticipation I had for it more than anything.
Yeah. Allison, we'll make it right. We'll bring it back home. Don't worry. Dan.
Final Fantasy 13.
Ooh.
You know, that was a game whenever like it had come out, I'd seen a lot of screenshots and been like, oh sweet, a new Final Fantasy game. And then it came out, the battle system was really different, the plot was kind of really boring, or at least to me, I thought it was really boring. And like it just didn't feel like a Final Fantasy game, and that made me really sad. So that was a game that I was kind of like, meh.
Chris?
Did you hear about the game Brink?
Yeah.
So I was real hyped about this game. I was like, oh, it's a multiplayer shooter being released by Bethesda. It's going to be great.
That's right. Bethesda, yeah. And it was a class shooter, right?
Yeah, so like it seems like it was kind of like I feel like if it had come out around the same time as Overwatch, it might have done better just because of all like the hype around Overwatch. It was just missing something. It was like Overwatch without having any character to the characters. But yeah, apparently according to Wikipedia, Brink sold 2.5 million copies. I don't think anyone ever played it. Like I feel like those must have all been like bargain bin people. Because
bargain bin buys.
I don't think I remember like there being a ton of people in the multiplayer.
And that game was almost entirely multiplayer, right?
Yeah, there's no single player thing. It was all multiplayer. That was another big part of it too, was that there wasn't a huge like if there was single player, it was very minimal.
All right, well, that is it for us this week at the Game Brew. If you have any games that you want to talk about that came out and just totally bombed and you want to talk about why, let us know by sending us a message at the Game Brew on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you guys hold on a second? I think there's someone at my door. Just give me a minute.
I'll just give you a sec. I hate it when Dan interrupts in the middle of the episode. It's the worst. So disrespectful.
Did you give yours?
Put a product out.
I heard that you were recording tonight. Is everybody here?
Oh my god!
It's great.
Oh my god!
It's going.
Guys, I can't stop him. Hello, everybody.
Oh my god!
How are you
Hi!
doing?
It's a mandatory fun commissioner.
Oh, look, it's everybody. It's Ian. It's Christopher. Oh, hello, Christopher. We've got Allison. Oh, Allison, happy birthday. Did you get the text message that I sent you?
No. Oh, I'm so upset.
Oh, it's probably a good thing you didn't receive it then, so just don't worry about that.
I'm a little worried.
Oh, I do not see William here. Is William around? Is he just not here this week?
No. Will's not feeling the fun today. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I've been dodging the fun police. They are very dangerous. You have to be very careful about them catching up, especially since the mandatory fun. This is not a laughing matter, Chris.
Sorry.
I don't have a choice in the matter. Now, unfortunately, I don't have something for you to do this week. I apologize for that. I know you always look forward to the games and the fun and all of that, higgledy-piggledy. However, I have something that you may be able to do because you record in like 2 weeks or something, yes?
That's correct,
yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I know you all like to play all these games. It sounds like, from what Daniel was saying, you're all kind of playing the same thing all the time, which is pretty lame.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I mean, I'm playing Near a Tomato now, so I feel like I'm doing good.
Do you really think I'm lame?
Alison, I would never think that you are lame. You are my favorite.
Okay,
You should
I
know
was worried.
that. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. If you got those text messages, you would know what I'm talking about.
I'm really excited.
But anyway, I want you to play some games for me, and that's like the game. You will be playing this game, and I want you to finish them. And because it's going to be so cool, I want them to be story-based. So I want you all to play some of like the Telltale games. Do you know which ones those are?
Yeah,
Like
I want to say we all have a Telltale game in our library somewhere.
I think so.
Oh yeah, probably.
But do we have to do this?
Yes, you do. It's mandatory. Remember, mandatory.
I just wanted to be clear.
Not
about
an option. Yes, it is very mandatory. But you do have to play one you haven't played before. So if you've played like The Walking Dead, you can't play The Walking Dead. If you've played Minecraft Story Mode, good for you. Don't play that one. It's not good. Okay.
Okay, noted.
Right, so,
yes, Commissioner.
So can I ask you which ones? So Ian, which one do you think you would like to play?
So I have The Wolf Among Us sitting on my Xbox, and I think that would be a great one for me.
Oh, that's good. That's a good comic series. I think that would be. It's a very good one. I think you'd like that one a lot.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm going to put that down in my mandatory fun journal here. Here we go. Just writing. Wolf Among Us. Great. All right, Christopher. What do you think? What do you think you're going to do?
Well, I've never played any of the Telltale games, so I think I'll start with.
Job.
I think I'll start with the one that everyone likes the most. So I'll do The Walking Dead.
Oh, yes. Christopher, you're going to love it. I guarantee it. Or you may hate it. If you do, it's okay. It's mandatory. You have to do it anyway.
Buy some tissues. And it's
Whoa, dude.
You'll need them for your eyes.
He's not going to be masturbating that much. I don't know what you're talking
I thought it was just going to be a really good experience.
This is
as much as I would like to say that was.
it's not a dating sim, Chris.
Alison, which one do you think you want to do?
Well, in honor of you, clearly, I'm going to play Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people, and I do think that's one you should play if you catch my drift. Wink.
Bad.
Wink.
Oh, yeah, but don't worry. I might come over and watch you play it a little bit if you don't mind. That would be pretty exciting.
You know, for research. Yeah, that's probably.
Yes, research.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, research. That's what it's for. Just remember to bring the buzzer with the that electrocutes everybody. That's my favorite.
Oh,
thing.
I can do that.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. But Daniel, what do you think that you were gonna play? Oh, hold on. Well, I was thinking. I really like Marvel stuff, so like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I know Telltale came out with a game a few years ago for that. I think I was probably gonna play that one. I think with. Oh, yes, that sounds really good. I think that may be a fun one for you. I mean, you are kind of a giant nerd, so I think that would be good. Comic books and whatnot. Does William have one that he wanted to play? I know he's here all the time, so.
Will is, I wasn't sure what to recommend to Will. He really likes to sort of like.
He likes bats and men.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is the Telltale game for Batman.
Oh my God.
That might be perfect.
Well, he also
you know what, we'll tell him.
He likes men in spandex, so this is really good for Will.
Yes.
Oh, see, that's why he's been sending me lots of messages recently.
I'll cut him. I mean, okay.
I mean, Allison, be careful. All right, so yes, I know I'm going to put that down in my mandatory fun journal here, and then next week, probably maybe during the first section when you all talk about the video games that you play, maybe I'll come back, check in, see how they do.
That sounds great. I'll pencil you in.
Oh, that's well, maybe write it in pen. I'll definitely be here. Oh, well, wunderbar. I've got to go back to my hovel in Australia before the mandatory fun police catch up to me. So, everybody have a good evening.
Okay.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen. Stay safe, sir.
All right. I will do my best. Goodbye.
All right, well, that is it for us this week. Like I said, if you have any games that you want to talk about, or if you want to talk about your favorite Telltale game, maybe you can hit us up at The Game Brew on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
We'll catch you in a couple weeks. Bye. Wunderbar.
That is great.
Ich bin hinbekommen.
I don't know what that means. I'm from Australia, remember?
Oh, right. I forgot. You speak Australian, not German.
I do. I speak Australian. I say good day. I say I want to put some shrimps on the Barbie.
Check.
No, I told you. I'm from Australia, not Czechoslovakia or the Czech Republic.